All right. So we are going to do an activity called Vocab Detective. So instead of me just giving you the vocabulary words and you copy down the words and definitions, I thought I would have you guys guess what the word might be based off of some examples that I give you. So I'm going to write a list of examples. These examples belong in 3 categories. So you should be able to group them into 3 different groups. From the groups that you create, you should hopefully be able to guess the 3 vocabulary words that I am talking about today. Sound good? So it's your choice if you want to wait till I have the whole list written down and then group them, or you can write the list as I'm writing the list and then use a color code and highlighters to figure out which one's which. Sound good? All right. So the first one I'm writing is seawater. That's my first example. That's the word. I'm giving you a list of examples and you need to group them. There are 3 groups. The second word I'm giving you is sodium chloride. So you might not want to start grouping them yet. You might want to have some more words first. The next word is nitrogen. The 4th word is water. The 5th word is sodium. 6th word is air. Start on the next side so you guys have some more space. What else did I have? Carbon dioxide. Ink. Hydrogen. Oxygen. And just for a little fun, gunpowder. So with these, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words. I want you to figure out what 3 groups they belong in. Recording going. All right. I'm giving you another hint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write down all the chemical formulas for these things. All right. Just trying to figure out how to do that. All right. Seawater, we're just going to assume that it's the basic. That one's sodium chloride, nitrogen, water. Air is, oh, that's a mixture of stuff. Oh. No, that's the wrong O. CO2. Ooh, gotta look it up. It's probably. I'm just going to write down a list of stuff. All right, so I'm writing down some other stuff. Let me check my phone. Right, does that help? As like hints? Yeah, it goes at 10:30. All right. From that extra information, has that helped? No? Think about the stuff that we've already grouped together. You're going to be kicking yourself when we get there. All right, so we've already got one group. Nitrogen, sodium, hydrogen, and oxygen. So the things in the blue are our elements. So these things are pure substances, only made of one type of atom. Element. So these guys are all elements. They are pure substances only made up of one type of element. So when you look at the periodic table, it only has one thing off that periodic table. So nitrogen, sodium, hydrogen, oxygen. You see hydrogen's 2 hydrogen atoms. Oxygen's 2 oxygen atoms. Sodium, just the sodium. Nitrogen, 2 nitrogen atoms. Write down our definitions. Has that helped you kind of figure out what maybe the other 2 vocab words are? No? Should I just tell you? Yeah, because we're giving up. All right. Next one includes these guys, the sodium chloride, the water, the carbon dioxide, and that's it. Those 3. Those 3, sodium chloride, water, and carbon dioxide. These guys are compounds. So my compounds are 2 or more different, is the key word, atoms that are, another key word, chemically joined together. Chemically joined together. And hopefully now, after getting that one, the last word then might be a little bit more obvious. So when we're looking at these examples, sodium chloride has the sodium atom and the chloride, or should I say chloride ion, but we'll talk about atoms and ions later. Water, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon dioxide, carbon and oxygen. Don't worry, I will also scan these notes and put them on my Google Sites, so if you miss anything, it's all there. Compounds. And then have a look at the last remaining words if you finished early, and try to take a guess on what you think my last vocab word would be. It starts with an M. Good guess. Goes M-I. Minerals? That's a good guess, but again, not what I'm looking for, though. M-I-X. Mixtures. So the last group here are mixtures. Mixtures. What do you mean go back to carbon dioxide? Do you want me to zoom out? CO2. All right, a mixture is 2 or more different, what's the word I want to look for? Chemicals, probably? Or substances. Mixed together, but not chemically joined. Now, when I use the word substance, the reason why I'm using a very general term is because that substance could be elements, it could be compounds, it could be a mixture of both. So when we look at some examples, up here with air, we have a mixture of elements and compounds because the nitrogen, the oxygen, the hydrogen, those are all elements. The water is now an example of a compound. This one here is a mixture of elements and compounds. Potassium nitrate is a compound, sulfur is an element, carbon is an element. I'm just going to move it down. Hope you guys don't mind. I'll move it back. Seawater, for example, that's a mixture of compounds. We have water and sodium chloride, which is just your table salt. Ink is an example of a mixture of probably compounds as well, with the solvents, the alcohol, and some pigments. So those are our 3 vocabulary words that we were looking for. I'll leave that up to give you guys a chance to get that down, and then we have another round. All right, round 2, vocab detective. 2 new words that I want you to know. Here's my list. My list is a little bit shorter this time. Here are our words. We're doing it again. 2 new words, only 2 groups. Okay? Salt, sand, oil, sugar, and flour. What is that, 5? Those are my 5 words. They belong in 2 groups. From those 2 groups, you'll be able to figure out the vocabulary word that you're trying to find out. Because these are examples of the vocabulary words that we're going to define. They are chemistry related, if that helps. And they are not the chemistry words we have just talked about. 2 new words. Give it a go. Here we go. These 2 are in a group together. And these 3 are in a group together. I don't know if that helps you. One word starts with an S, the other word starts with an I. And it has something to do with water.
Salt and sugar, they're both white.
I'm going to start writing the word, and then you guys are going to...
Solution.
All of those things are soluble, so they will dissolve. So what's the other word? Starts with an I. Insoluble. Will not dissolve. Do you guys feel like that was really silly? No, you didn't. All right. I need to give you guys some more words tied to that. And I heard you guys saying them as we were trying to go through these words and taking a really good guess with them. So just to kind of recall, when we're talking about mixing, we have often a solid that is known as our solute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we mix that into, say, a beaker with some liquid. And our liquid would be known as the solvent. So solute is what's being dissolved. And the solvent is doing the dissolving. Does this ring a bell? hopefully. The way I like to remember it is the salute is saluting as it jumps into the water, and the solvent is venting to it to hurry up and dissolve. When these things mix together, we call that the mixture is a solution. But we only call it that when it's actually dissolved.
It's like ramen. You know, you put the powder in.
Yeah.
And then solution is like juice.
Can I move it? It's 2 more words I want to give you.
I'm gonna put it up to the flour, powder, water,
Yeah.
juice.
All right. Some other important words when we're talking about solutions is concentrated and dilute. So when we have a concentrated solution, what's an example of something that's really, really concentrated?
Like
Has anyone used a soda stream before? Or any sort of like syrup? Yeah, so the syrup is an example of something that's concentrated, and then you dilute it with water, so that way it's not super sweet.
Yeah.
Huh? Cordial, thank you. That's the word you guys use here. So concentrated just means that it has a lot of solute. All right, and then the other word is dilute. So what does dilute mean? It's not a lot of solute in a solution. Give me an example of something that is quite dilute.
Water.
Well, water is the solvent itself, so it's not a solution.
People dilute their drinks.
Yeah, people dilute their drinks, and that way they're trying to stretch their money.
Vodka.
Yes. You should dilute that. A lot of times, when you're at sports, you know how sometimes you get like the sports drinks, but in order to make it go further, they dilute it down so you taste it and it doesn't taste as nice because they're trying to get more volume of water in you. So it's just a small amount. Cool. I think that's all the vocabulary words I wanted to cover. Oh, one more word. Sorry. When the solute goes into the solvent and it breaks apart, what do we call that? Dissolving. So that process is known as dissolving. So the solute mixes into the solvent. Not in this topic, no. Yeah. We're going to be focusing on chemical reactions for this topic. One of the chemical reactions you're going to learn is the precipitation reaction. And because you're learning that, I need to give you this vocabulary. All right, cool. Just watching the time. We have about 10 minutes left. We haven't used any of our preferred activity time. So just to kind of figure out what my next activity is for you guys. First off, do you want to use those 5 minutes at the end to have a break, or do you want to bank it? Bank it? Okay, so we'll bank those 5 minutes. All right, so we're going to keep on our learning activity. We have about 10 minutes, so I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. I have a Quizlet, but I think that might be better for tomorrow. So instead, for today, we can move on to the crossword activity. A crossword. Huh? Can you? Talia's not back yet. You gotta wait till she's back. All right. So, crossword. I'll show you guys how to do this.
Oh no, yeah, she's gonna
Give you guys a sheet. So you guys are gonna be making your own crosswords. Oh, the other one. Yeah. just gonna pause the recording so you're not getting the whole thing. Okay. Thank you. All right, so let me give you the instructions for this. All right, with the crossword, you are going to be placing your words down, and we are using the vocabulary that we talked about today. So when I say the vocabulary we talked about today, that's element, compound, mixture, soluble, insoluble, solute, solvent, solution, concentrated, dilute, dissolving, I'm happy if you guys use. Basically like any chemistry words that we've talked about today. The instructions first. And then you start by writing down the words. So let's say, for example, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's too long. Let's say I want to do dilute. So I'm putting that down as my first word for building my crossword. Now, when you build a crossword, remember that whatever you build, you need to then put the other letters in reference to it. So if I'm putting dilute here and I see there's an L, maybe then I want to put soluble over here. They need to all bridge together. You get it? Yeah. So you can put it anywhere. You can use any of the words that we have. I think concentrated might be too long, unfortunately, because I only put 10 letters. For this one here, you can do element, for example. All right. I want you to have a crossword with at least 8 words from our vocab list. Once you have your 8 words listed out, you can then color in the blocks that you're not using. Okay?
Oh, we're doing crossword outward.
Yeah, you're making a crossword.
That's what I wanted.
So get all your 8 words down. So you need 8 words. And then whatever you don't use, you color in. We good? All right. That's what I want you to do right now. And if you mess up, I have some spares. I'll put that at the front because I'm sure it was going to happen. Back to the side. You messed up. I would suggest doing this in pencil so you can move things around if you find that you don't like where the word's located.